Thomas saw Jesus crucified on the cross of Calvary. For those of you that may have seen the film The Passion of Christ, you saw the agony that he experienced. You saw the uproar, you heard the uproar of the crowd as they mocked him. Thomas saw that. After the crucifixion, Jesus was taken from the cross, placed in a borrowed tomb. On the third day, he arose. Witnesses first were the women that came to the tomb. Then the two they talked with on the road to Emmaus. And then Jesus met with his disciples. And they beheld his hands. Though they had not believed the report of the women, not reported to from on the road to Emmaus. When they saw him in person, they rejoiced. But one was not there. His name was Thomas, called Didymus. And the Bible records that Thomas said, "Except I can see and touch, except I can feel the scars where the nails were driven in his hand. Take my hand and thrust it into his side where the spear was. I will not believe." Emphatically, he says, "I will not believe." Growing up, I've heard that many times people make the statement, "Well, unless I see it, I'm not going to believe it." Has anybody here ever said that? Oh, come on. Got to be some of them. I know I've heard things that I can't believe, and if I see it, maybe I'll believe it. Well, this is what Thomas said about Jesus. I've witnessed in my short lifetime many things that were hard to believe. I can remember watching on television a spacecraft that the United States had sent to the moon. And I'm thinking, how can it be that we can put men in this ship and send it up to the moon, and they get out on the moon and walk around? To this day, there are many people that do not believe it happened. They are saying it was just a show, that it did not happen. Well, there are many accounts of that event. And I just happen to believe that we put some men on the moon, and they walked on the moon, and they came back to Earth. I wasn't on the moon, and I have no desire to go there. I was not on that ship that went up there, and I have no desire to be on that ship if it ever goes up there again. I'll take their word for it. We have a tendency as humans to question things that we can't see with our eyes or touch with our hands, smell or feel. And in many ways, we're like Thomas was. And there are many in our world today who do not believe that Jesus arose from that tomb. But I do. There are many like Thomas who say it's just a collection of what men have written. But I believe that Jesus came to this earth, born of a virgin, lived 33 years on this earth, selected 12 chosen men to train them, to walk with them. I believe that he was hung on a cross. That cross was probably larger than the one we've got here. When I read accounts, it seems the nails were much bigger than the ones that we have here. Some said they were more like what we would call a railroad spike today. When it's driven into the hands and the feet, that makes a large impression. Our world believes many things that I don't believe. But in the same way, there are things that relate to God that our world will not accept because they have not seen it. Yet every time that there's a scientific excursion to go and to try to prove the Bible is wrong, they've come back saying, well, it was right. There are many witnesses to the fact that Christ arose. And I believe it happened.
Amen.
There are some atheists in New York City who at Christmas time, now at resurrection time, are running huge billboards denying that Christ lived, denying that he was crucified, denying that he arose from the grave. For a group of people that make up less than 2% of our nation, they receive a lot